I've never questioned him as an African because, yeah, you were born in Africa, South Africa. Of course, you're an African. I've never questioned that. As a product of colonization, you're trying to tell me who the I am. You can take the boy out of Africa, but you can never take the Africa out of the boy. I never ever did that to him. I never discredited him as an African. I just, okay, there you are, cool. That pissed me off.
I think Izzy's gone away. He's embarrassed. He's annoyed. He's every time he sees these people competing for his belt, making money, taking digs at it, you know, just tarnishing his legacy, taking away his greatness, you know, wearing his belt. That stuff keeps you up at night. It's not like he's injured. It's not like he's got one eye. It's not like he's damaged goods. The only damage he's had is mentally in here. So he's going to come back, and I think it's going to be a very, very dangerous Israel Adesanya.
Dricus du Plessis does things different, and I have been called a hater of his style. But he has won and won and won, and now I believe that he goes into the fight with Adesanya as the favorite to retain his championship. This young man can wrestle, he can strike, he's got great cardio. But in Israel Adesanya, you have one of the greatest middleweights of all time who wants nothing more than to become champion again. But not only become champion, Izzy thrives in tough situations. Izzy dominated Paulo Costa very quickly because he was mad at him. He doesn't like Dricus du Plessis. I'm excited to see that angry Izzy.
At one point, you replayed the clip, Izzy's got an angry look on his face.
Izzy has an angry look on his face.
He does.
I can use my anger. Never use your anger in an emotional way. You can use your anger like I use in the Brunson fight, like I use in the Costa fight. You can use your anger to fuel you and be deadly.
Maybe Adesanya's the type of guy where he feels like he needs to feel that pressure, he needs to feel that type of emotion. I don't know. I think I don't think I've ever seen him like sway. Like actually, I would say with the Strickland fight where he lost, I think that was one where he didn't kind of build it up too much. You know, where it was kind of like, it almost looked like he was taking it easy, or he was underwhelmed by Sean Strickland, so he didn't come out to fight as hard as he maybe should have. So maybe he needs that type of thing that's going to be more positive for him.
Now, I want to see Izzy's black ass retain that belt, take heads, and come back. So I'm hoping we see a new version of Izzy. Izzy, who's going to come forward, push the pace, get him in a clinch, wrestle a little more. But once again, I am biased because I enjoy Izzy. We are friends, and I want to see him succeed. So, but you know, I think it's good to see him get the opportunity to fight for the belt again. And I still think he's one of the biggest stars in mixed martial arts today and in the middleweight division.
But Dricus du Plessis, the way he ran through the middleweight division, stopping the likes of Darren Till, the fight with Derek Brunson, the stoppage over Robert Whittaker, and then the fight with Sean Strickland. You know what I mean? Listen, he was pushing the pace, he was swinging, he was being violent, he was putting together nasty combinations, hitting takedowns, okay? So Dricus du Plessis is one thing you can count on. You can count on him showing up 100%, all singing, all dancing, looking for the stoppage every single time. And I don't think Izzy's going to be any different.
All of you are very familiar with Adesanya, and some of you don't know Du Plessis, and it's always a popularity contest. I understand that, so but you're not quite aware how hard that fight is. Some of you, until I just said it now, aren't aware that Du Plessis is undefeated within the octagon. And as I'm looking at it, I mean, you gotta understand, Du Plessis has the ultimate bad guy name. Like, it just reads well. It just sounds like a villain out of a movie.
Adesanya is gonna, for the first time, I think, realize, oh, this is a bit more serious than I originally thought. And even if he doesn't, you know, that will be at his own demise. But he better take it serious, because I think he's gonna be very surprised, and I think he's gonna be, for the first time, feel the nerves and feel that energy when I step into that cage and do what I do best.
I'm not going to get into the whole thing, obviously, but he is from Africa. Adesanya is from Nigeria. There were some words being spoken about, you know, who's African, who's not African, who's this, who's that. And since those words were said by Du Plessis, Izzy has had a target fixed firmly on Dricus's forehead. And it has been interesting and fun to watch.
I never questioned his ethnicity. I never said he's not African, even though colonization, we don't want to go over there and all that stuff.
Yeah,
he is an African because he was born in South Africa. And I never questioned that. But the fact that he was being a dickhead and who the real African is, you know, I breathe African air, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, how the f are you gonna question me, Francis, and Kamaru's blackness, our Africanness? Like, who the f are you? So I had to put that out there and just, I want to educate him.
Firstly, I think so many people made comments, Adesanya and at that stage Usman as well, made their statements after that, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks after the fact that I said it. So I was really surprised, because when I said it, it was never to spark a reaction. It was purely stating the fact that there's a record book, and if you go on the record books, I will be the first champion to reside in Africa, which is a fact, and that was what I stated.
You ever heard of Ancestry in Me?
Of course.
If you do Ancestry in Me on me, I know where the f I'm from. If you do it on him, he'll find out where the f he's from. And I'll tell you, it wouldn't say South Africa. I'll tell you that it wouldn't say South Africa if you do Ancestry in Me or whatever thing, because it'll tell you where the f he's from. He'll know his real heritage. I know who the f I am, and I stand on that. No matter where in the world I am, you can take the boy out of Africa, but you can never take Africa out of the man. So I know that, and I never question him as an African. Yeah, no, it's more about history. It's more about my people. It's more about who the f do you think you are? Have you done your research on how the f you got to Africa? Do you know who the f you are? I don't think he knows who the f he is, but I'll remind him who the f he is.
Adesanya has a job, which is to make you, the public, as interested in his next fight as he possibly can. That is a job that almost no fighter under contract understands that they have, but he does understand it, and it's a game he is willing to play.
I just think that he was frustrated, right, losing that fight to Sean Strickland, and bro, it's also hard, right? Whenever he was the guy, he gets beat by Sean Strickland, who Pereira beat. It's like there's a whole thing. Those guys will always be linked to each other, and that has to be hard for a guy like Adesanya. But I love this fight. I love that these two guys are going to settle the score.
People had no idea like the amount of injuries he was carrying into like all of those fights and stuff like that, because he was so quiet about it and just kept so active, like just kept pushing through, But it got to the point where it's just like, and now it's starting to just affect your performance, and you're like losing to guys who you should like cakewalk, you know what I mean? So it just took some time, fixed his injuries up, and he's just massive, bro. Like, he grabbed me at sparring though, so we haven't sparred in ages. And he grabbed me at sparring the other day, and I was just like, what have you been eating? He's the biggest and strongest like I've ever seen him.
I haven't been paying attention to the build-up in this thing, but I know Dricus well. I've trained with him quite a bit with Dricus. He's got a tough man. He's a tough dude. He's good all around. He's gotten a lot better. Dricus believes in himself. I know that in Dricus, and he ain't gonna quit.
No, I think Izzy outpoints him for sure. And it's like Du Plessis good, you know what I mean, when the fight's doing this. Two people are going forward. Izzy has really good angles, really good footwork. His feints and stuff are phenomenal. I think he gets the job done. I think the person giving him the hardest time in that weight class is Strickland. So, you know what I mean? Unless it's a Strickland rematch, I think Izzy gets the job done.
Honestly, you'd have to, I think Dricus fighting Sean displayed a level of pressure that he can put, which is, to stop a pressure fighter like Sean. I thought that was pretty impressive. He's tough and dogged in that effect. And then we saw Sean have a lot of success against Adesanya, pushing forward, pushing that pace, being in his face. So you'd have to, make the connections that's what Dricus is going to do to Adesanya. And, unless Adesanya's done something to counter that since the last time we crossed Sean's path, and it might be a long night.
But now, I've said in one of my posts, that was for history. That was the first African residing champion, the first South African to even be in the top of the sport, and of course to bring that belt home. Now it's for the legacy, and that's something that gets me up every day. There's a new hunger. There's that championship hunger, because now I'm defending my throne, and I'll do anything to defend that throne. So in training, it's just, the team, everybody stepped it up, because now they're going against the world champion. And we just stepped it up just another level.